If you are enjoying our content and our stories, we really appreciate if you can drop a like and subscribe. It helps us a lot. We will be posting videos every week.
In the quiet embrace of a small town in Thailand, where the sunsets painted the sky in shades of amber and the air carried the scent of jasmine, I was born into a world that seemed both familiar and unexplored. My name is Tan, a moniker that echoed the rich tapestry of my heritage, a tapestry woven with threads of tradition, ambition, and an insatiable curiosity that often set me apart from my peers. From an early age, the world around me seemed to whisper tales of wonder and adventure. The narrow streets of our town, lined with bustling market stalls and the laughter of children, were my playgrounds of imagination. But as the years flowed by like a gentle river, my heart began to yearn for the pulse of a bigger world, one that beckoned to me from the shadows of distant city lights. And so, with a heart brimming with dreams and a suitcase filled with the hopes of my family, I set forth on a new chapter of my life. Bangkok, the vibrant heart of Thailand, became my canvas of exploration. Amidst the bustling crowds and towering skyscrapers, I embarked on a journey to pursue my passion in journalism, a field that held the power to amplify voices, unearth hidden truths, and illuminate the human experience. As a college student, I eagerly absorbed the knowledge and skills that the hallowed halls of academia had to offer. Yet, even as I delved into the nuances of media ethics, storytelling techniques, and the ever-evolving landscape of communication, my focus found its compass fixed on a darker facet of the world around us. The stories of crime, mysteries, and the human psyche that propelled them. Physically unassuming, with a stature that could easily be overlooked in a crowd, I carried within me a fiery curiosity that burned bright. My medium-length hair, often brushed aside to reveal eyes that held a mixture of wonder and contemplation, concealed a passion that set my heart racing. Despite the vibrant chaos of the city, a sense of solitude clung to me like a comforting shroud, one that allowed me to delve deep into my thoughts, to explore the uncharted territories of my mind. My major in journalism became more than a collection of courses. It was a gateway to the world of words, where my voice could echo with purpose and impact. Yet, the allure of murder stories and crime news cast its shadows over my academic journey. My peers often raised eyebrows at my chosen focus, wondering how I could immerse myself in tales of darkness while standing on the threshold of a profession that sought to bring light to the world. The truth was, my fascination with murder stories was not born out of a morbid obsession, but rather out of a desire to understand the intricate web of human nature. I sought to explore the psychology behind crime, the motivations that led individuals down paths of darkness, and the narratives that lay hidden beneath the surface of every headline. Each story was a puzzle waiting to be deciphered, a canvas on which the human experience was painted with strokes of fear, grief, and resilience. In the vibrant chaos of Bangkok, I found solace in the pages of crime reports and the maze of criminal investigations. My nights were often spent poring over details, connecting dots, and unraveling the narratives that painted a vivid picture of human complexities. My peers might have deemed my fascination strange, but to me, it was an extension of my journalistic pursuit, a way to dig deeper, to expose truths, and to shed light on the shadows that lingered at the edges of our world. As I walked the streets of Bangkok, the city's pulse beating beneath my feet, I carried within me a yearning to explore the uncharted territories of human behavior, to tell stories that would spark conversations, provoke thought, and ultimately offer a deeper understanding of the intricacies that defined our existence. My name is Tan, and within me resides a world of curiosity, a passion for storytelling, and an unyielding determination to cast a light into even the darkest corners of the human experience. The city of Bangkok was a cacophony of lights and life, its heartbeats pulsating with a rhythm that echoed through the bustling streets. Amidst this vibrant tapestry, A new darkness had emerged, casting its ominous shadow over the city of angels. It was a case that dominated the headlines, whispered in hushed conversations, and haunted my thoughts like a persistent spectre. A series of killings that took place between the hours of 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. had plunged the city into a state of fear and uncertainty. The victims, young and wealthy tourists who sought pleasure in Bangkok's neon-lit corners, found themselves ensnared in a web of terror. The bodies, always discovered in the proximity of the city centre's notorious brothels, bore witness to a gruesome reality that shattered the veneer of exotic allure that Bangkok so often portrayed. The news stories were grim and chilling, each report detailing the lifeless forms of individuals who had come seeking escape, only to meet a fate that defied comprehension. As a journalism major with an unquenchable thirst for the truth, I found myself drawn to this case with an intensity that bordered on obsession. The puzzle of it all, the motives, the method, the mindset of the perpetrator captured my imagination in a vice grip. But there was more than curiosity at play. Beneath my analytical surface simmered a deep anger, an indignation that surged from the core of my being. Bangkok had long been a city of contrasts, a place where ancient traditions coexisted with the relentless march of modernity. Yet, the emergence of sex tourism as a central attraction was a stain on the reputation of a country steeped in history and cultural richness. The victims, young souls who had come to the city seeking forbidden pleasures, were ensnared not only in the trap of a merciless killer, but also in the trap of a society that had commodified human desire for profit. It was a grim reminder of how a city's allure could be tarnished by the exploitation of the vulnerable, a reflection of a darkness that had woven itself into the very fabric of the city's streets. As the night stretched on, I found myself consumed by the details of the case. The investigation, led by the authorities, was a tapestry of leads and dead ends, a mosaic of shattered lives and unanswered questions. Yet, I couldn't help but feel that the victims deserved more than just being statistics on a police report. They deserved their stories to be told, their lives to be remembered beyond the headlines that sensationalized their demise. My obsession with the case led me to dive into the city's underbelly, to walk the streets that held secrets and whispered tales of despair. I spoke with those who inhabited the same shadows as the victims, those who eked out a living in the night's embrace. I listened to their stories, their hopes, their struggles, and their silent pleas for understanding and compassion. And in the midst of this darkness, I found my voice as a journalist. I wrote articles that painted a portrait of a city grappling with its own contradictions, a city that held the echoes of tragedy amidst its vibrant lights. I focused not only on the victims, but also on the systemic issues that allowed such a case to unfold, a system that exploited the desperation of both the victims and the perpetrators. The case became more than just a news story. It became a catalyst for change. As my articles gained traction, they sparked conversations that transcended sensationalism, conversations about human dignity, societal responsibility, and the need for a more compassionate and just future. My anger transformed into a fervent determination to bring about awareness, to shine a light on the darkness that had taken root. With each word I wrote, with each story I told, I chipped away at the apathy that had allowed this grim reality to persist. I was no longer a solitary observer, but a voice that sought to provoke thought, to challenge norms, and to honor the memories of those who had fallen victim to a world that had lost its way. As I navigated the labyrinthine streets of Bangkok, I carried within me a sense of purpose that burned brighter than ever. The victims were not forgotten. Their stories lived on in the ink of my articles, in the conversations sparked by their tragedies, and in the collective resolve to create a world where no soul would fall victim to the darkness that had consumed them. My name is Tan, and in the heart of the city's turmoil, I found my purpose, to be a beacon of light amidst the shadows, to tell the stories that needed to be heard, and to challenge a society to rise above its own darkness. Saturday arrived with a heaviness that seemed to cling to every fiber of my being. As I woke, I felt as though I had been dragged through a night of restless turmoil, the remnants of a dream lingering in the recesses of my mind. It was a dream that had become disturbingly recurrent, a nocturnal wander through the neon-lit streets of Bangkok's city centre. In the dream, I walked amidst the shimmering lights that adorned the bustling streets. The neon glow cast an eerie ambience, painting the surroundings in shades of electric blue and fiery red. But as I traversed the labyrinthine alleys, I was overwhelmed by a haunting atmosphere, a medley of blaring music, drunken laughter, and the countless faces of tourists lost in pursuit of fleeting pleasures. The brothels loomed like titans, their garish displays of desire juxtaposed against the souls who walked the streets. The prostitutes, silhouetted by the neon, were mere shadows of humanity caught in a cycle of desperation and survival. And as I navigated this dream world, I felt a sense of unease, as if I was an intruder in a world that was both familiar and foreign. Waking up that Saturday, sweat clinging to my brow, I was disoriented and drained. The dream had left a residue of discomfort, a feeling that lingered despite the sun's attempt to pierce the curtains. As I stumbled to the bathroom sink, my breath caught in my throat. Small, dark drops of liquid marked the floor like ink blots, stark against the pristine white tiles. Panic surged through me as I knelt to examine the drops, my heart pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. It was blood. There was no mistaking it. My mind raced, conjuring worst-case scenarios as I frantically searched for any source of injury. Yet I found no wounds, no explanation for the crimson traces that marred the bathroom floor. With trembling hands, I reached for a cloth, wiping away the evidence as if erasing a sinister secret. But the unease remained, an unsettling whisper that danced on the edge of my consciousness. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss, that the dream had somehow seeped into my reality, leaving behind traces of its disquiet. Determined to quell my rising anxiety, I made my way to the kitchen to prepare a simple pad thai for lunch. The rhythmic sound of the knife against the chopping board was oddly soothing, a moment of normalcy amidst the strangeness that had enveloped my day. But as I discarded the knife in the kitchen trash can, a glint of metal caught my eye, a chilling tableau that froze me in my tracks. The blade of the knife, usually pristine and gleaming, was streaked with crimson. A hushed gasp escaped my lips as I stared at the ominous sight before me. The blood appeared fresh, the metal still moist to the touch. It was as if the dream had transgressed the boundaries between sleep and wakefulness, as if the thin veil that separated the two had frayed at the edges. I stumbled back, my heart racing as my mind grappled with the inexplicable. What was happening to me? Had the lines between reality and dream become irreparably blurred? The room seemed to spin around me, the world itself morphing into an enigma that defied my understanding. With trembling hands, I discarded the knife, the fear in my chest swelling like a storm. I needed answers, explanations, something to anchor me to the reality I knew. But as I gazed out the window at the city beyond, the neon lights that once held a vibrant allure now seemed to pulsate with an unsettling energy, as if they held secrets I could never decipher. The dream had woven itself into my waking life, casting a shadow that eclipsed the sun's warmth. And as I stood in my kitchen, confusion and fear gripping my heart, I realized that I was standing at the precipice of a mystery that held the potential to unravel everything I knew. A chilling realization gripped me as if icy fingers traced the contours of my spine. The bloodied knife, the eerie dreams, it all clicked into place like pieces of a macabre puzzle. It was the link that tied the unsettling recurring dream to the haunting reality of the serial killer case in Bangkok. The realization was like a bolt of lightning illuminating the dark corners of my mind. The murders consistently occurred between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m., The very hours I spent in the realm of sleep, adrift in the twilight between consciousness and dreams. My heart raced as the pieces fell into place with terrifying precision. The monotone routine I had so meticulously followed, my commitment to obtaining the same 7 hours of sleep every night, had unwittingly aligned with the killer's sinister timeline. Fear clawed at my chest as I wrestled with this revelation. The dream, the blood, the knife, it all hinted at a connection that I could no longer ignore. Could it be possible that the same hours I surrendered to the realm of dreams were the hours when the city's streets became painted with blood? My mind raced, concocting scenarios that bordered on the surreal and nightmarish. An instinctual urgency consumed me. I needed to know if the connection held true. The desire to unveil the truth and untangle the web of my own involvement was an overwhelming force, guiding my every decision. With trepidation, I made a choice that defied my own nature. I decided to forsake sleep that Saturday night. As the hours stretched on, the city's nocturnal symphony unfolded around me. The familiar neon lights cast their kaleidoscope glow, and the raucous echoes of Bangkok's nightlife danced in the air. But in my sleep-deprived state, everything took on a surreal edge. I moved through the city like a ghost, an observer detached from the familiar rhythms that usually guided my existence. And then, it happened. Saturday night slipped into Sunday morning, and the news held an eerie silence. No reports of killings, no chilling accounts of victims found near the city's notorious brothels. My pulse quickened, and a mixture of hope and dread churned within me. Could it be that my decision to stay awake had somehow disrupted the sinister pattern? Had I stumbled upon a way to thwart the killer's intentions? A mixture of anxiety and elation surged within me, a cacophony of emotions that left me reeling. But amidst the chaos of my thoughts, a cold realization cut through like a knife's edge. I had been the variable, the change that had disrupted the cycle. Panic clawed at my throat as a haunting possibility coalesced in my mind. What if the reason no killings had occurred was that I was the one responsible for them? What if, in the depths of my dreams, I had unwittingly transformed into a force of darkness, a vessel for the unspeakable acts that had tormented the city? The very notion was absurd, inconceivable, yet the evidence was there. The alignment of my sleep hours with the hours of the killings was no mere coincidence. Dread settled over me like a shroud, suffocating and inescapable. The truth was undeniable, the implications chilling. I had to confront the possibility that the nightmares that had haunted my sleep were far more than mere figments of imagination. They were windows into a reality that defied understanding, a reality in which I was a puppet, manipulated by forces beyond my control. As the cityscape outside my window painted a tapestry of neon and shadows, I felt like a man standing on the precipice of his own unraveling. My name is Tan, and in the wake of that sleepless Saturday night, I was faced with a truth that challenged my very identity, a truth that had transformed me from a mere observer into a player in a deadly game where the boundaries between dream and reality were shattered beyond repair. In the abyss of the night, I found myself adrift in a sea of energy drinks, their artificial promises of wakefulness pulsating through my veins like a desperate heartbeat. My decision to forsake sleep was born from a desperate need to avoid the horrors that visited me in my dreams. But as the days stretched on, the walls of my reality began to crumble, revealing a landscape marred by my own descent into madness. I was a shell of the person I had once been, my body weakened by exhaustion, my mind fractured by the ceaseless battle against sleep. The haunting whispers that had once resided in my dreams now echoed through my waking hours, the boundaries between the two blurring into a maddening haze. I was no longer the journalist student pursuing a noble cause. I was a broken soul teetering on the edge of oblivion. The energy drinks, once a lifeline, now tasted like bitter regret, a bitter elixir that only fueled my own destruction. The vibrant city around me transformed into a surreal landscape, its neon lights mocking my futile efforts to escape the clutches of my own mind. Shadows danced at the edges of my vision, and the echoes of laughter and sorrow merged into an indistinguishable cacophony. My body was a prison, each movement weighed down by the chains of fatigue. Sleeplessness carved deep lines into my face, transforming my reflection into a ghostly visage that stared back with hollow eyes. The world had become a distorted canvas, its colors bleeding into one another in a dizzying swirl that mirrored my crumbling sanity. But the hardest battles were fought within the confines of my mind. I grappled with the conflicting desires that tore at my psyche. My yearning to put an end to the killings clashed with the chilling realization that I might be the very catalyst behind them. The torment was unrelenting, a relentless storm that raged within, threatening to consume the last vestiges of my sanity. And then, one fateful day, as the sun began its descent into the horizon, I made a choice that was both an escape and a surrender. With a heart heavy and a mind fractured, I ascended to the rooftop of my building. The wind whispered through the air, carrying with it the weight of my decisions, the echoes of my turmoil. The ledge beckoned, a precipice that promised an end to the chaos that had consumed me. As I stood on that rooftop, the city spread out beneath me like a vast expanse of secrets. I felt an odd calm wash over me. The decision to end my own torment was a painful one, but it was also an escape from the torment that had come to define my existence. The prospect of sleep, with its dark allure and its potential for bloodshed, had driven me to the brink. And so, with a final breath that carried the weight of 1,000 sleepless nights, I stepped forward. The wind rushed past, the ground hurtling toward me, and for a fleeting moment I felt weightless, liberated from the shackles of my own mind. The city lights blurred, and as the world closed in around me, a sense of serenity embraced me, a quiet resignation to the end of a nightmare that had become my reality. In the aftermath, the city continued to pulse with life, its neon lights casting their vibrant glow over the streets. The serial killer case remained unsolved, a mystery that would forever haunt the annals of Bangkok's history. The killings ceased, leaving behind a void of unanswered questions and unspeakable horrors. The truth remained buried with me, a truth that could never be unraveled, a truth that was etched into the shadows of my existence. The headline spoke of a young and lonely journalism student, a soul consumed by obsession and driven to an unthinkable end. The details of my demise were a testament to the blurred lines between reality and the mind's descent into darkness. My name was Tan, and my story was one of a battle that waged on the borderlands of reality and dreams, a battle that ultimately led to my own downfall. The city would move on, the echoes of my struggles fading into the tapestry of time, a reminder that even in the most ordinary lives, darkness can take root, and dreams can become prisons from which there is no escape.